years ago. Thought a lot of him just from an outsider looking in, and I thought a lot of him as he beat Benjamin Russell 2 times as Clay County and Benjamin Russell had a couple of year span that we played. But after I'm getting to know him and knowing the family, they're just super people, and I wish him nothing but the best. And he had a little Bear Bryant saying, felt like the good Lord was calling him home, and that's where he went back to. And who would blame him to close out a career over in Clay County? I know it's Clay County and Lineville together now at Central Clay, but he won 6 state championships and played for 9 there at Clay County. He's a legend. The old field was named after him, and but I'll go back to that. He's a great football coach, but I was more impressed meeting and being around him outside of football than even I was there on the football field. So I wish him nothing but the best.
A man of deep faith, known throughout as a good friend, just a solid character guy. I wasn't obviously as close to him as you guys were, but I did get to interview him several times and talk to him on occasion, and just really friendly, salt of the earth, and I couldn't wish him any more well than I do. I'm very excited for him. Yes, I'm a little curious to what's going to happen with Benjamin Russell here. What kind of direction will the program take? But I think it's a golden opportunity. You got to look at these things in a positive light. If you're Benjamin Russell, you don't have time to sulk about, well, what could have been if Horn had come back and maybe spent the duration of his career here in Alex City. You have to look forward and say, okay, what kind of direction, what kind of football program do we want to be? And what we talked about last week on the program, Randy, with El Toro, I said I think Benjamin Russell would do themselves very well to get a guy that has some serious Alex City or at the very least Lake Martin roots. Because I think this is going to be one of those moments where, and we've had them as Alabama and Auburn fans, where you want somebody that kind of knows you so you can kind of put your arms around them without having to get to know them so much first. I'm not going to tell the committee what to do. Go out there and get the best coach you can, but I certainly think it would help if you have somebody that knows Benjamin Russell, knows Alexander City, knows this area and what football means to this whole city, don't you?
I agree, and I could spin it a couple of different ways. There's a couple of coaches that are on the staff, one being Kevin Smith that's been there since I was a senior in high school. He was actually a grad assistant when I was a senior at high school, came over with Coach Sav and did a great job. I really thought a lot of him then, and he's been there for 22 years. He's been faithful to the Wildcat program. I think he's a complete and total guru when it comes to offensive and defensive football. I think he'd do an exceptional job, and I'd support him 110%. But it's a tough turn. I've also was a part of the last little crew that came through under Coach Savarese. The next year was his last year. And following that, we go out and we pick a coach that nobody knew. The committee went out and chose Phil Lazenby. My brother and them's group, I never thought they were very good at football. I'll be the first to say I'm sorry. They lost nearly every football game they played in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And so I understood. Somebody can spin it in a different fashion, but I understood when Coach Sav decided that was the year to move on. I did, and I'm sorry. That's my brother, and so I can talk about him like that. Maybe others can't, but I can. And then Phil Lazenby comes in, and he takes them to our first and only 6A state championship game in the first year. And so you really have to let the committee and let those that you choose as leaders make the decision and get behind and support whomever that may be.
But now, taking that a step further, when Lazenby left, they went and got
Willie Carl Martin.
That's right. And I think he did have ties here. So, I think that argument can work both ways. But, look, in the end, you're right. The committee needs to go out there and get the best coach available. I'm just saying, I think optimally it would be best this particular year to have somebody you can really put your arms around. Because, look, I didn't go to BRHS. You did. You have stronger ties to the high school than I do. But I think I speak for a lot of people here where there was a lot of thought this whole time, ever since Horn's been here, if that job comes open, especially at the right time like it is now, he's going to go back home eventually. I think everybody kind of felt that. So it'd be good to have a coach that this is home. I'd fault Coach Horn, not at all. Not at all. I'm all for it. Go do your thing, man. You got to worry about you. But I want somebody this particular time that has ties here that I feel is going to be rooted here.
I want them to make a decision based off of whatever that stipulation or that bullet point that they put are the most important factors.
Yep.
And I think that any coach that's currently here would want them to choose them because they checked off more of those bullet points than others. And I do agree with you. I think that someone that's been loyal and has been here and kind of knows and has the feel of the area could be important. And I can understand that would be one of the checks that others can't get. There may be some other checks over here that match up. So I've got to support whomever. You know, when you sit in mine and Brett's shoes and you're a cheerleader, look, Danny Horn's been here, Coach Sav's been here, I played for him, Phil Lazenby, Willie Carl Martin. Very few of them are left here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very few are left. I hope to be in this seat for 30 more years. I really do. I hope that I'm 60-something year, well, that'd be 70 years old, still up there calling Mrs. Morales football. I'd like to be doing that because I actually enjoy that gig. There's some I don't enjoy. There's a lot of gigs I have right now that I would like to throw to somebody else. But that's a gig I enjoy. So when you sit in our shoes, you have to be supportive.
I get you.
You know, you've got to be the cheerleader, and I'm going to support the crew that they've got put together because they really do. They've got a crew together on this committee that cares about the school, cares about the community, and I think they'll do the right thing.
Well, let's just wait and see. And whoever they get, we're going to support them 100%, like you said.
I'll say this. It's nice to be wanted. And I think you can understand.
Look, there's no question. This program is a hot program. I mean, people want to be – they're not going to have to go begging assistant coaches with no names and no background to take this gig. This is going to be a gig that people are going to want.
It's a gig that pays well, one. It's a gig that's supported well. You know, you've been highly active. I've been highly active in support. So there are funds that go through to make sure that we're competitive on a statewide basis. And just the community as a whole is football hungry. I can't think of very many places in this state that are more rabid than we are. And I say that meaning that we went down to Spanish Fort 3 times and played in the semis and the quarterfinals in those 3 years. We had almost twice as many fans as they had there 4.5 hours away. How many programs do you know that are like that? I only know one or two. Opelika's one. Opelika's one that's rabid. That's the reason I consider them a rival of ours, but one that I look up to because, not look up to, but I look on an even keel because I see how much passion they have for their program and how much everybody that's active with the program have a passion for it. And that's something that coaches, whether they're here, there, or wherever they are, sense and know about this program, and that's important that we keep it like that.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, and Benjamin Russell's got some time. I don't know exactly when spring practice is going to start, but they've got a little time to get this. I
think I saw a tweet last night that the Super Bowl just ended in 21 days to spring football.
Is that for Alabama and Auburn, or is that for BRHS?
No, I think Alabama and Auburn. It's just how it never really ends.
Yeah, it doesn't. And, well, I mean, and also as a buffer in there, you've got this signing day. And then we get a little time off to sort of enjoy the basketball season, which in the past we haven't. This year we might be doing it a little bit more. But you're right. Football, there is no off season. So I'm very pro no off season in football, by the way. I dig that. I like it a lot.
You're not looking forward to that opening pitch and spring training and baseball to come.
Listen, I was listening to another program today, and somebody called in and went on about a 2-minute thing about the Braves, and I was thinking, how in the world can you be thinking about Major League Baseball right now? I don't see how that's even on the docket. Like 3 pages deep.
You don't even listen to Mad Dog, do you?
Oh, no, I can't do
There's no chance you're going to XM82.
No, because it is very a lot of baseball, and I can't. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, we got too much football, man. I can sit here and talk about Danny Horn and who BRH is going to get for 2 hours rather than talk about Major League Baseball for 10 minutes if we were in the middle of the summer.
Well, I can promise you that more people around here would rather us talk about that than the other, and you better understand that. We've kind of talked about that over the years, that we enjoy talking in Auburn and Alabama because we know that the fan base out there, but when we start swaying away from those 3 or 4 things that we know people enjoy, that's when we even get bored.
We took a shot at NASCAR, and I don't think it worked.
Austin took a shot at NASCAR.
Boy, let me tell you what.
Change that. Austin was our NASCAR correspondent. Let's put that into
You talk about reaching deep
context.
into that barrel.
And then we went into pro wrestling. That's another one of Austin's.
I think we could do. I think we have a better shot at pro wrestling than we do NASCAR. We need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this Super Bowl. And did you protest it? That's something we can talk about. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. At Main Street Family Urgent Care, we want you to know one of the benefits of our clinic. We have a self-pay option that allows you to get the most out of your visit. That means you don't have to worry about receiving a large bill after your visit. $125 covers all in-house labs, stitches, x-rays, or injections, and we have a selection of antibiotics available in the clinic. We want you to feel better fast at Main Street Family Urgent Care, open 7 days a week in Alexander City across the street from Walmart. Feel better fast.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-GO cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-GO cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best E-Z-GO carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Let's jump right into some Super Bowl talk. And look, we could talk about Nick Foles and really his incredible accuracy. I thought he had a great game. We can talk about Alshon Jeffrey and how good he looked in the first half. We can talk about Nelson Aguilar and how he looked in the second half. There were a couple of catches in there that I'm not sure they were catches. I mean, but it's tough to say anymore because the NFL has made it so confusing as to what a catch is. But I really want to talk about, I'd love for somebody to call in or get us on Facebook Live and if they protested the game by not watching it. Tell me, what do you think about that now Not saying you should feel badly or feel good or feel anyway. I'm just curious because it was a great Super Bowl. I want football to be good. I want football to continue to be the #1 sport in this country. And I think for it to be that way, the NFL has to maintain its position. So I don't want people protesting. I'm not a mouthpiece for the NFL. I like football. So I don't want it to have any of these black eyes. And I don't like it when people are protesting, but I get why some people didn't want to watch during the season. Okay. But in the Super Bowl, if you watched it, there was nobody kneeling. Pink sang the national anthem. It was beautiful. Somebody else sang "America the Beautiful." He screwed up one of the lyrics. At least I thought he did. But it was still beautiful. So really, at this point, are you going to protest it? I'm just curious. Are you going to protest it forever? Because I don't know that the NFL could have come out and said they didn't get a hold of this thing fast enough. This thing turned into a PR nightmare pretty quickly. And I didn't like the guys kneeling either. I want to put that on record. I wish they hadn't. But once they did, and once it got going, and by the time the NFL figured out, oh, this is kind of a big deal, it was too late. It already was moving, had so much momentum, it was going to be hard for them to stop. So I think they just had to let it play out a little bit. And I think now it is kind of played out. And I think let's all move on from it. I think the statements were made on both sides. Let's just go back to watching football.
I'll say sometimes it's better to just not say anything. And I say that when you watch the NFL, you can clearly tell as the game started, you have 2 songs, which is not normal.
That is not normal.
You have Medal of Honor recipients. One, Benny Atkins from Opelika, was one of them out on the field. You have pictures. You have everything that is USA involved. So the NFL clearly was trying to make a statement that we got it. We get it. Look, we hear the outcry. We're trying to clean this thing up. But I said that first part, and I understand where some of the protests are coming.
I do too.
And I get it. And I'm not a black man or woman, but we should be sympathetic towards protests when it's understood what those protests are.
And it was peaceful.
Yeah, I just think that some of these protests have gotten to where I don't even remember what the opening protest was.
I think in the end, I think you're right. I think, what Kaepernick was doing, and again, I wish he hadn't done it that way. Or I wish he would have done it once and then moved on and said, I'm doing this, I want you to recognize it, but then I'm moving on because I want us all to move on. Now, I think that would have been pretty cool. But again, it's hard for us to get in those shoes. So
that's right.
When I talk about, as soon as I say something like that, I'm like, I probably shouldn't say that. So it's a very confusing thing, there's no doubt. But this Super Bowl was a chance, I think, for everybody on all sides to say, you know what, guys, let's just get together and have a Super Bowl party. And let's just watch this thing. And the game was so good and so much fun. It was so exciting throughout. It wasn't like the national championship game between Alabama and Georgia. The first half was kind of a clunker. The second half is one of the best second halves I've ever seen, but it's going to go down as a great game. It really wasn't a great game. It was a great second half. This Super Bowl was a great game all throughout. There was one punt. There was one turnover. I mean, it was maybe not all the defense some people wanted, but I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was so much fun to watch. I was captivated. I didn't even go to a party. I was watching my 1-year-old. I had to wait for my wife to come back. And so by the time she got in, there was no party to go to anymore. I didn't want to get there late. So we just watched it at the house, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
It's gotten in this country, and I don't want to make a political statement right here or get off on a tangent, but you can't have a moderate stance on anything.
That is the truth.
And it's a sad set of affairs that 50 years after the Civil Rights Movement, that we're still sitting here and as divided as we ever are and as contentious as we've ever been in this society. And I think everybody needs to step back and point a finger at themselves. You know, you watch State of the Union address, you've got people sitting down and moaning and groping, and I mean, really look like a bunch of childish individuals in their actions. And but football is in the same regard. So many people just want the entertainment. And I know that's easy for us to sit up here and say, but the ratings are showing that, Luke. So it doesn't matter what you and I say. The ratings are still showing throughout the season. I don't think the playoffs as much, but throughout the season that there were enough people to concern the NFL.
Well, but I think you could, and I know a lot of people who were protesting are like, see, the ratings were down. And that's true. The ratings were even down for the Super Bowl. They were down, 7%? And down the lowest since 2009. But it was still one of the top 10 most watched events in television history. Like 113 million people watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's all relative. And I also think maybe ratings are harder to get your hands around because people can watch it, stream it online, or watch it on their phone, or whatever they're going to do. It may be more difficult to get an idea of what ratings are anymore because it's not a traditional media that you see watching things anymore. I mean, I watch as many things on my computer as I do on TV. So that's not really true, but I'm making my point, so let me roll with it. But I know my children do. They watch as many things on their computer or on their phones as they do on TV.
Which tells you what they'll be doing.
That's exactly right.
In years to come. I mean, you think of many of us that we don't even turn the TV on a lot at our house outside of the cartoons that are on there because I've got plenty to keep me entertained reading Twitter, reading articles, watching YouTube videos. I mean, I was watching Clay Travis walking in here a little bit ago on his take on the Super Bowl because I wanted to see if any of his takes were ones that I wanted to spin to tonight. And is that not what you do?
Yeah.
You try to watch people that you kind of agree with a lot, and it's so easily accessible now. But that makes the media market so dense that in order to gain an eyeball is tough. And we have known that we needed to change up and do some different things from when we started 12 or 13 years ago this year. And one of the things we added this year was Facebook Live. I think it's one of the best things we've done, Luke.
It's awesome. I mean, I'm watching it right now, and I love people commenting. Jason Page said it looked like a Big 12 no defense, Big 12 game. Jason Gamble says Super Bowl had no defense, didn't like it. And I kind of get that because I'm a defense guy, but I still enjoyed the game. I mean, yeah, I think that I would have enjoyed having I hate to say this. I would have enjoyed some more punts because that means there'd be some more stops. There's one sack. There's one sack, one punt, and one turnover. That seems a little funky, but overall the game was great. And because Tom Brady had the ball late, you couldn't leave it. It wasn't. If it was any other quarterback just about who got the ball late, you'd be like, well, there goes the Super Bowl. I can switch it over to whatever. Even when he got it back and they ran that terrible reverse they tried to run, you were still like, okay, he's still got to
figure this out.
All right, we got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have a short segment, and then we're going to have Jimmy Stein on to talk a little recruiting geared towards Alabama. National Signing Day is tomorrow. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
Ask what makes it the best 3 Series ever, and we'll tell you it has more advanced suspension and steering, or even more control of the road. And it's near perfectly balanced to put performance first. But ask her for where the competition mimics us just to keep up? No comment. The BMW 3 Series.
Visit BMW of Columbus on Whittlesey Boulevard or shop bmwofcolumbus.com.
Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937. 866-837-6937. Or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean. TPE Power Equipment is now the trusted name for all your mower and power equipment needs. Whether it's our original Tallahassee location or Opelika location on Fredericks Road, we've got East Alabama covered with the best brands of mowers and power equipment from Husqvarna, Toro, Kawasaki, Echo, and Honda. Right now, get commercial strength Husqvarna zero-turn mowers with our fleet program that offers deep discounts, easy finance, and bonus handheld equipment in one solid package. TPE of Opelika and Tallahassee are the new standard of everything power equipment in East Alabama.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Farnell Mechanical gives you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable.
Trust Farnell Mechanical to provide perfect air for your family.
What perfect feels like. Lennox.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime at the all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Every new and pre-owned vehicle, just $1 down. Plus credit amnesty. Bring home $350 a week, get up to $30,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
10 acres, 1,000 vehicles, just $1 down.
Folks, you've just got to see this place.
The all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE.
Start your engine!
Green, green, green. Here we go, here we go. Time for racing.
Go, go, go.
Sunshine and a hot, slick track. Wow, that kid's having a blast.
Go low, keep digging.
Great job. What a perfect day for racing. That's what I'm talking about, boys.
The Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 will ignite all your senses, starting at just $39, and kids' tickets are just $10 at AtlantaMotorspeedway.com.
Man, that's Atlanta.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air, your authorized East Central Alabama train dealer. Call Advanced Heating and Air. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. One thing El Toro Freeman and I talked about last time we did this show on Tuesday was, man, we got the longest segue from when the Sportz Blitz thing's floating around and then we go to a sponsor and then come back to us. They got a good 15 seconds right there, which seems like longer than that because El Toro and I hadn't been doing this a lot. So, I mean, you and I have a chemistry and we've done this before. We kind of know. I don't really know what he's going to say or what he's going to do. I don't have a feel for it. So I'm getting kind of anxious and I'm like, man, that heating and air thing's going to have to get off so I can get this thing rolling, you know?
Thanks to Advanced Heating and Air, though, as they're our segment sponsor
they are
right
great
here,
people.
and they've been a part of our program for quite some time, so make sure to call on them for all of your heating and air needs. I'll say this about El Toro. We've had him on our Auburn Blitz program, and I like working with people that just, when they start talking, they go ahead and talk for 5 to 7 minutes, and I don't have to. And you're the best at it.
That's why you like having me on.
You're great.
And you love it when I interview Brian Passing because that's a show.
Now, 12 years ago, Brett and I started doing this program, and I'll never forget after the first month, I asked Brett if he wanted me to come back up there with him. Mm-hmm. Because if we did 45 minutes of actual on-air time, he talked 42 of them. And I talked about 3. So, but we all figured that out. And love you, Brett. But he knows
that's true. I can see
that's
that.
True.
Jason Pate says, "Tell us more about the moisturizer."
but El Toro, he'll get to going. And
yeah, you know what? He told me the best story. I don't know. You know, that's another thing. By the way, I'm a little disappointed. You and Brett. The next day I talked to y'all. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And you're like, "I didn't watch it." I'm like, if y'all aren't a part of it, you just humor me. Say you saw it because I'm going to retell the story anyway. You can say, "Oh, I saw it exactly." Remind me again because I'm not sure exactly. Just humor me. But El Toro told a story last week, and for those who missed it, another reason this is a short segment, so that's why I'm going to do this story. This is another reason I hate Mike Shuley. He's my least favorite Alabama coach of all time, is because El Toro Freeman wanted to commit to the University of Alabama. He came on this show and said this. He said he went to Alabama, went to Tuscaloosa, was sitting in Mike Shuley's office. Mike Shuley was leaned back in his chair, probably a chair about as nice as this one, and he said, El Toro, you got everything we want. You got quickness, you got heart, you got desire, you love to hit people, and you get a nose for the ball, and you get down and dirty, but you're also classy, and you're strong, and you're fast, and you're quick. And El Toro said he was on the edge of his seat, and he's like, I just roll tide, let's go. I'm going to commit right now. Mike Shuley said, but you're this much too short. I said, that's rude if he's not recruiting you. That's rude just to tell somebody. Just walk up to him and say, I like everything about you. If you were just a little taller, we could really be friends.
This is going to work out.
Oh, God. And you know, El Toro was great. El Toro was great at Auburn and whatever. I mean, it wouldn't have been somebody, though, that would have made or break the Alabama program. But what that tells me is if he's saying that to somebody, and El Toro was pretty highly touted. If he's saying that to a 4-star linebacker that Alabama could have really used, what's he telling other folks? I mean, my God. I mean, do they just walk in and he goes, okay, I'm going to give you a scholarship, but I really don't want to?
He was telling them exactly what the previous 3 basketball coaches that Auburn had before Bruce Pearl showed up at Auburn. Because when you watch them roll that, and me and you can have a good off the air and during the break talk about that with how Auburn is recruiting now. But the difference in what they're getting and what we have now is the same as what Alabama was. I mean, you watch them. There's a bunch of dudes. I probably used that, by the way. If you
like that, did you?
I like that one. Because Auburn does. They've got dudes out there playing, and that's Luke's that's saying that when he watches Auburn. It's not that they're just the guys that you can watch. They're playing above the rim. There's a whole bunch of them, and Auburn didn't have any of that.
For instance, when Alabama's on right now, that's why my eyes keep going up there. But when I watch Alabama play and I see Herbert Jones is his shoulders go right like this, and then there's his head. He looks like a basketball player, but he doesn't look like somebody that's going to scare you. Like Auburn's guys, they look like dudes first, basketball players next. They're dudes who are good at basketball.
Yeah.
Like Alabama's guys look like basketball players, and you got to turn them into dudes. And it's, the Auburn guys already have that fight in them. This particular team does.
Yeah.
Like they all kind of look the same. It's like they've all got the same kind of build. They've all got they're muscular framed, and they're all pretty quick. They're all fast. They all hustle. And Alabama's got some guys right now like John Petty. I'm not trying to call him out, but we know he's a great basketball player. But not every time is his head in the game. And he's a young guy, so it'll come to him.
Sexton's that way on defense. I watch him, Luke, and he gets lost. And if he makes a turnover, if he makes a bad pass, he loafs it down the court. And he gets away with it athletically.
He's an emotional kid. He and Petty are both very emotional.
But don't talk bad about Herb Jones.
No, I can't. I love Herbert Jones.
He's my guy.
Who talked about it bad? I said he's just perfect. He looks like a basketball. When he walks in the gym, I'm picking him. Y'all can have who you want.
He defends.
You can have next two.
He is getting overlooked. He should get more touches. He should be more actively involved in the offense. Alabama be better with that.
And lefty?
I'm going to sit with that one. I'm going to brag on that one because I called you after the Alabama-Mississippi game last year. I said, I don't care what you say about these others. This Jones cat that's playing point guard and defending their point guard at 6'8" is unreal.
He's got a 7'2" wingspan at about 6'9". It's pretty cool. Shane Smith said we are kind of wrong way on the helmets, but, we decided earlier today that I'd host for whatever reason, and Randy.
I can tell you why we decided, because I'm about to step aside when you go to recruit talk.
Oh, that is true. That would have been tough on you.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you have it.
Well, let's go ahead and go to break. When we come back, we're going to have Jimmy Stein on. He's from Crimson Country Club, but he is also kind of an internet legend. If you follow any Alabama recruiting, you know Jimmy Stein.
He does good down in the Mobile region.
Oh, yeah,
too.
real strong. He's got good connections. So he'll be on with us here in just a minute. We'll be back with more Sportz Blitz Live.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
With the boat season winding down and the weather getting cooler, it's time to let Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road and winterize your boat and get ready for the off-season. The good guys can make all your off-season repairs, winterization, and upgrades easy and on budget. Remember, now's the best time for used boat prices and selection, and you can even pre-order next year's Landau pontoons and quality Suzuki outboards to get the perfect fit for next spring. Service, sales, and value all this off-season at the place the locals know, Alex City Marine. And don't forget to order your 2018 Manitou pontoons now.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you, gotta get to Gills. Selection and price, gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
Beals Electric is your local expert for LED lighting retrofits for commercial and industrial applications. Beals Electric can survey your facility and develop lighting retrofit solutions utilizing the latest in LED technology and controls. In many cases, energy savings alone can generate a payback of 2 years or less. Additionally, LED lighting has an expected lifespan of up to 100,000 hours. Call the Lamborns today at 256-234-4555.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside,
but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy,
ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
At A&M Plumbing, you can count on us for dependable, quality service. Our staff is professional, neat, clean, and courteous. We're a fully licensed and insured plumbing company. Call on A&M Plumbing for any plumbing, sewer, or septic problems. We provide a comprehensive line of plumbing repair and installation services to keep your home's plumbing systems in top order. When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing. Service at its best, when you need it most.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back into wow. You really zoomed in on me there, Ryan. Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson here now with Jimmy Stein from CrimsonCountryClub.com. He and I both write for that website and have for the last, Jimmy, I think it's been 12 years. Can you believe that?
Absolutely it boggles my mind. I mean, I'm sure that's right. In a off-the-cuff aspect, I would say, I don't know, 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's really flown by. But when you have Nick Saban as a head coach, it helps things move along very nicely. And speaking of Nick Saban as a head coach, one of the best recruiters of all time, and tomorrow is National Signing Day, and that's why we're having you on. Let's talk about what's going to happen tomorrow for Alabama. First of all, let's start with the best prospect left in the state of Alabama, and that's Justin Ross. What do you think?
I think it's Alabama. I think at one point it was almost certain Clemson. I think Auburn has had some momentum at times. This is a kid that's sort of been real consistent on Alabama, Clemson, Auburn for months. And credit the kid who had so many options for narrowing it down and never wavering. I think he's kept it close to the vest, really. Kind of a quiet guy. But in the end, I think this is going to be Alabama and a pretty big coup for Nick Saban. I don't know that I would call Justin Ross the consensus number one prospect in the state, but he's probably as close to that as anyone else is.
On the defensive backfield side, Alabama's already got a great haul back there, and they need it. They lost just about everybody in that defensive backfield. But two names to keep an eye on tomorrow, Patrick Surtain, Tyson Campbell, the best two defensive backs in the country, according to most services. They just happen to be on the same team. Where do you think they end up?
I mean, it's almost probably the best drama tomorrow for Alabama is the ultimate landing spot for Patrick Surtain Jr. and Tyson Campbell. Look, I think Alabama could go 2-0. Alabama could go 0-2. The most likely outcome is 1-1. And in terms of which one it will be is anybody's guess. But I'll say this. I would rank it this way. I think the best possibility is 1-1. I think the next best possibility is 2-0. I think what's likely not to happen is 0-2. But it could, and even if it does, I expect Alabama to land Eddie Smith, who's one of the best sleeper prospects in the country, as their fourth defensive back in the class. Even if Alabama goes 0-2 on Surtain and Campbell, all is not lost. But gosh, if Alabama is somehow able to land both, I would go so far as to say, Luke, that Josh Jobe, who Alabama signed in the early period, plus Patrick Surtain Jr., plus Tyson Campbell, that might be the best cornerback group signed by any college in recruiting history. That's how big a deal that would be.
Would Eddie Smith still come to Alabama, do you think, if they were to land both of those guys?
Yeah, my understanding is I think Eddie Smith is just sort of a done deal, period.
Okay.
I think Alabama's taken Eddie Smith, and I know that people have a tendency to look at the stars and see that Eddie Smith is a 3-star and Surtain and Campbell are 5 stars. I don't think that's the way Alabama's looked at it at all. Eddie Smith was a late qualifier. Since it became apparent that Eddie Smith would likely qualify, and Alabama did a deep dive into the tape and the film, I think in Alabama's eyes, Eddie Smith is a 5-star.
Let's talk about a guy that I really love to watch play, and that's Jalen Waddle out of Texas. This is maybe the most electric wide receiver in this class. Justin Ross may be more ballyhooed, and I certainly get that. He's got more of a Julio Jones type build to him, but Waddle brings a lot of wiggle to this class if he were to line at Alabama.
I would go so far as to say my projection would be, I'm crazy about Alabama's young trio of wide receivers that showed out all of 2017, and Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, based on nothing more than high school senior tape, and we'll see how that translates to college, but based on high school senior tape, I think Waddle has more ball skills and is a more explosive prospect than any of those three. Now, will he prove to be just as good or better once he gets to college? We'll find out. But as a high school senior, I think Waddle is more explosive with more ball skills than Jeudy, Smith, or Ruggs.
You know, Malik Langham may be the most intriguing player left in the state of Alabama. This is a guy that it sure seemed like he was a lock for the Tide maybe as early as 2 days ago or a day ago. He goes to Auburn, has a good visit. Some people think he has a good vibe there. But now I'm seeing a lot of crystal ball projections for him to Florida.
Well, Florida, give Florida this credit. Malik Langham was sort of a late riser. This is a kid that early on in the summer probably wasn't getting any attention at all. This was a guy that basically blossomed into an SEC big deal during his senior season. But Florida was there from day one. If the kid is actually going to choose Florida over Alabama and Auburn, the reason I would cite Luke is because Florida got to the dance first. Florida was the first to ask him out. Florida was the first to show him a lot of love, and I think if he chooses Florida over Alabama and Auburn, he's just had a longer relationship with the university, a longer relationship with the coaches. Oh, and also, obviously, there's also this Mississippi State. When Dan Mullen was in Starkville, they offered him very early. So Mullen and his staff had a long relationship with the kid. I would guess that's the reason he was also offered by the previous Florida staff. So I'm not going to be stunned if this is the case, but it is a bit of a surprise because most projections over the past 2 or 3 months have had Langham at Alabama.
And finally, can Quay Walker just go ahead and decommit already? I mean, it seems like he has been more of a decommitment than a commitment for Alabama the last 2 months.
He really has, and I think it's a bit of the terminology. It's a bit of the recruiting services fault. I'm not pointing the finger at 24/7 Rivals or Scout or ESPN, but the fact of the matter is these kids publicly commit, and then the services don't take them off the commitment list, even though they're visiting other schools, they're hosting coaches from other schools. Quay Walker is a commitment to Alabama only in the sense that he is on those lists on the internet. He's not a real commitment to Alabama. Alabama has not counted on Quay Walker signing with Alabama. That continued to look at other options because Quay continued to look at other options. He is a commitment in name only, and as we all know in recruiting, commitment means something different than it means to the rest of us in normal English.
Do you think Nick Saban ever looks at like his commitment board and goes, "What is he still doing up here? Why are you still here?"
There's probably a really good chance that Quay Walker is on the commitment board on 24/7 Rivals, Scout, and ESPN, but not on Alabama's big board.
Very
I don't
true.
think they've looked at Quay Walker that way for quite some time.
Well, Jimmy, thank you, buddy. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. It has this early signing period is taking a little bit of the luster off for me, but I certainly love National Signing Day. It's like Christmas too for me, so I'm going to have fun. I know you will.
I'm 33% excited.
All right. Only a few recruitniks will get that joke.
Alabama's 2/3 done, so I'm 1/3 excited.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
Thanks, Luke.
That was Jimmy Stein, my cohort for Crimson Country Club. He does a great job. He is an internet legend. I don't know what else to say. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just telling you what he is. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here on Sportz Blitz Live. When I come back, Randy will be out here with me.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn?
U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
At Chicken Salad Chick, we understand the holidays can get hectic. That's why we've got your holiday party needs wrapped up with a pretty bow on top. From takeout to full service, we cater to any crowd this holiday season. Grab your favorite quick chicks or side items to go, or please your guests with a chicken salad sandwich platter, pimento cheese jingle ball, or pumpkin cheesecake. We believe you should focus on making the memories while you let Chicken Salad Chick make the food. Now go enjoy it. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
What's different about Hyundai of Auburn? Beautiful cars built here from parts made here. That's jobs and tax money.
And right now, Max, record low finance plans. 0% interest and $4,250 cash to spend with no budget busting repairs for a full 10 years. Drive a new Hyundai today. Check it out, HyundaiofAuburn.com.
And my Max Martindale deals. Tell them Max sent you. I might get a bonus.
Max, you're not real.
What?
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alec City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's big green egg and accessories headquarters.
You're really starting to notice how long that spot's up there now, aren't you? Because I pointed it out to you. But welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson and Randy Lee, and we were talking about just some random stuff, but we can be talking about SEC basketball. Alabama and Mississippi State are playing right now. I think Arkansas is hosting South Carolina. I hadn't seen the score on that. I'll check on it in a minute. And then later on, and Kentucky and Tennessee are playing right now. And then there's another game, Missouri and Ole Miss, I think, later on tonight. But let's talk about SEC basketball for a second. We're going to have Blake Lavelle, who I don't know exactly who he's with, okay? I'm a little embarrassed to say. But if you are on Twitter, look up Blake Lavelle if you like SEC basketball. He has become, via Twitter, the authority for this stuff. It is so cool to watch him tweet during the day just random thoughts about SEC basketball, and they're all poignant and smart and good and not just hot takes. I mean, good stats, and he's just a great follow. I mean, and I appreciate that now. As like I've gotten more into Twitter. I'm like an old man with Twitter now. I can cull people. I used to be scared to cull people for fear they'd cull me. Now I don't care if they cull me. You know, I've just gotten older, and I've gotten older in my Twitter world, and it's fine with me. So yeah, well, I'm looking forward to having him on in a second.
There's a lot of people like that, Luke. Jimmy is that way.
Jimmy's
you know, people, may not know who Jimmy was, and then they start following, and they're like, well, I like to have a beer with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy, he's funny. He's good, and there's a bunch of people that aren't journalists that are just avid fans, but they give it, and they give it well. And I think that the ones that are becoming really good at both are, in our world right now, separating themselves from the pack.
Yeah.
I brought up Clay Travis earlier. You may like what he says, you may not like what he says, but a good percentage of the people, or a solid percentage of the people, do like what he says. You take Cole Kublik. Cole on the Auburn side, in which he doesn't really ever get too homerish about it, but Cole does his thing where he follows linemen, and he shows trench play from the sky. And, being an old football player in the day that played for coaches that were obsessive with film study and obsessive with rewinding and starting back up and rewinding, and you watch every play about a dozen times, and after a while you're like, what in the world could they possibly see the 11th time that they didn't see the first 10 times that they checked it out? But Cole Kublik's like that, Luke, and there's a number of people that just enjoy seeing that, and we learn a lot. Don't you agree? I learn a lot by watching these guys.
Yeah, and I think when Kublik shows his videos, I think they're great. I mean, because he does focus on something that you can tell he just recorded it right from his phone from the screen onto his phone, and it's sort of rudimentary, but you didn't notice it watching it before because you're so busy watching the running back and the quarterback and the receiver, you don't look at the line play. And he brings some real smartivity.
So I agree with you, though. There's a lot of Twitter guys I look forward to follow. I don't follow him, so I'm going to follow him.
Yeah.
When I leave
Blake Lavelle is a good follow.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now. And when we have him on, look, he's also been on about a bazillion shows. I mean, like every day he's like, I'm going to be on this show, and I'm going to be on this show, and I'm going to be on this show. And so he knows what he's talking about. They don't have just random folks on, hey, yeah, sure, why not? Auburn's good. Yeah, they're pretty good at basketball this year. Yeah, what else you want to talk about? No, he knows some other things too. So
your thoughts on SEC basketball, Luke? Do you feel that this year we don't have that premier team, even though Auburn's sitting there at number 8, so it's not far from one of the top teams there in the country. But for the most part, I think top to bottom, you've got a Mississippi State and Alabama playing right now. It's on the road at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's got a really good record. Aren't they up to 17 wins now?
I think they're 15-8.
Are they 15-8?
Yeah, they're about the same record as Alabama.
Okay.
They may be 17 and something. They're all. That's what I was going to say is that there's Auburn obviously has separated themselves, and I think a lot of that is based on chemistry. You're right. I don't think they're an elite team necessarily, but I think that they hustle so they can give anybody fits. They hustle and
when
they're
shooting well,
and especially when they're shooting well. And that's the thing. They also don't quit. Auburn gets down 10. It doesn't bother them. They get down 15. Doesn't bother them. They just come back and then beat you by 15, even though they were down 15. It's pretty crazy. But the rest of these teams, Alabama included in that bunch, and maybe Tennessee, is Auburn, and then maybe Tennessee, and then just a jumble of teams, probably Kentucky and Bama, and you could even put Florida in there, even though Florida's fallen flat here a little bit lately. Missouri's in there. Missouri, they looked like they were going to hit the skids, and then they beat Alabama, and they beat Kentucky too. I mean,
South Carolina.
South Carolina's not bad. They're just going to be a tough out, especially at South Carolina. So, the league's better this year. I was talking about it earlier. The league's going to be a lot better in 2018, 2019. It's going to be a lot better because you're going to have some teams like Alabama that have also gotten older and wiser. I mean, they're more experienced. You're going to have a team like Kentucky's always going to be, they obviously didn't get the same caliber of guy they've been getting in, but I think Florida will certainly be better. Mississippi State, they're going to be a lot better next year. There are going to be some strong teams. Even Auburn's going to be pretty good again next year, assuming that
Who goes?
the FBI doesn't take them off.
Well, the two that I think that were potentials to go to the NBA,
They're out.
They're already gone.
Well, I would
we
say
haven't seen them all year.
You think Bryce Brown will come back?
He could. I do think he will, just because I don't think that he's going to get a top 2 round draft grade. Do you?
I don't know. He's such a good shooter. And
He may.
Mustafa Heron.
I don't know. I look at him and and maybe that's rose-colored glasses checking it out, but I don't see non-question NBA talent there. Like Austin Wiley, for me, I think if he would have played this year, we would be having a different talk. I'd be going, Austin Wiley's 6'11", he's 270, he looks like he's gotten
gone.
really strong. He's gone. But I don't look at any of these others and go, my gosh, Mustafa Heron's a Colin Sexton's going to be a top 5 pick. I don't see that.
Yeah, and because I think his ceiling's lower than Sexton. He's a better player than Sexton right now, if you ask me. But it's close, but Sexton's ceiling's much higher. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Same thing with Bryce Brown. But Bryce Brown's such a good shooter, and Heron's a pretty good shooter too. And I don't know how much better are they going to get sticking in college is what the other argument could be made about them is, are they going to get a whole lot better sticking around? I don't know. I mean,
I don't either, and that's the tough part of basketball right now. But I've seen a number of Alabama players over the years, the Kennedy Winstons of the world, and I could keep going down the list where they have a pretty good year. And then all of a sudden, they're going to take a risk, and they're going to jump into the draft. And you never hear
But you
from
know
them
what
again.
those guys have also done? Kennedy Winston being a good example. Gone over to Europe or Greece or Turkey and made a boatload of money.
I think these guys can do that in a couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
If they want to continue to stay around here and see if they can test the NBA waters, they can do that. But any of these guys, you take a Jared Harper, you take a Bryce Brown, you take a Macklemore. Auburn's got a number of guys that may not make an NBA, but they're going to get well paid because they're dudes. Come on, I'm going to keep saying that.
They are
buddy.
some dudes now.
I mean, you talked me into it. Dunbar's probably the lead one, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just an athletic.
And Okeke?
He's more of a basketball player to me than the others.
He's strong, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's long, shoots the ball well.
He's physical. I can't wait to talk to Blake Lavelle about this. Now, I was talking about some of the other games. Kentucky and Tennessee, they're in a tight one at 56 all. Arkansas looks like they're pulling away from South Carolina. Alabama's in a 1-point game right now. Actually, a 2-point game as Mississippi State just makes a free throw. So let's go ahead and go to break. When we come back, we'll have Blake Lavelle. Stay out here.
No, I'll let y'all talk.
Okay. We'll be back in just a minute more Sportz Blitz Live.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At US AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, US AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the US AmeriBank difference. US AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Centricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
A1 Four Seasons, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, is Central Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With the summer months approaching, the temperatures are rising, and so will your power bill if you don't have one of the latest 410A heat pumps. With R22 Freon prices on the rise, now is the time to make the switch to a new, more efficient unit that will save you hundreds of dollars on your yearly power bill. Call A14 Seasons at 256-234-4457.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson back with you now, joined by Blake Lavelle. Blake, you have become an internet legend, or at least a Twitter legend, I think it is, when it comes to SEC hoops. How's that feel?
It's different, isn't it? Because you don't really find many of those. There's not really many people, I guess, that kind of focus on it the way I do. It's we all know it's a football league, but I think, SEC basketball, like we talked about before we came on, it's just gotten to a point now to where people have to take notice because it's that good now.
You have definitely found your niche, and tonight there were a couple of great games. Alabama and Mississippi State. Looks like Mississippi State's going to pull away and defeat Alabama tonight. What do you think that means for the Crimson Tide, and what does it mean for Mississippi State?
Well, I think for Mississippi State, it's an important win and probably one of the biggest wins they've had there, because now you look at where they're at overall here, and Mississippi State's sitting here in pretty good spot going into the stretch run of the season. For Alabama, it's just, is it really shocking that they lost this game? And I don't think it is, because it's just one of those deals where this team has been up and down all season long, haven't really been able to build a huge amount of momentum except during that 4-game winning streak they had there a couple weeks ago. And so to lose this game, not really that shocked. But, now Alabama can get a chance to turn around and play Tennessee on Saturday. And depending on how this game wraps up here, and it'll wrap up by the time we're done with our conversation, but Tennessee look like they're about to win at Kentucky. And it's just, Alabama's got a lot of opportunities left. And so if they continue to get these kind of wins, they'll be fine. But certainly losing a game like this is not exactly good for your resume.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Alabama does have a lot of big wins on their resume. And they'll have another opportunity on Saturday. As you mentioned, Tennessee, it looks like they will defeat Kentucky. And, man, if Alabama can beat Tennessee on Saturday, it sort of wipes away whatever this is. And then they welcome in an LSU team that is very hot and cold. And, it's hard to say. That's why all these predictions about who's in the tournament right now, where's your bracket standing, when you get to the 5, 6, 7 seeds, it's hard to say who's going to be there, because all it takes is 1 2-game winning streak or 1 2-game losing streak, and all of a sudden they're off the bubble.
Yeah, it is, and it's just, and Alabama too has one of the toughest schedules left probably of anybody. When you look at their schedule, like we talked about, they're going to play Tennessee on Saturday. After that home game against LSU, you're talking about games at Kentucky, at Auburn, home against Arkansas, home against Florida, at Texas A&M. Those are all games that if Alabama doesn't play well, they could lose all those games. And that's not, just going out there and being Mr. Negative. They could legitimately lose all 5 of those games down the stretch there. So they've got to be able to come home, like you said. I mean, getting a win over Tennessee would obviously be huge. And they definitely have to win that game against LSU. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is, when you drop a game at Mississippi State like they're going to tonight, you still have so many quality win opportunities left, and that's kind of been the nature of the SEC this year. Is when you lose a game or two, it doesn't really affect you that much. But now that we're getting to this final stage of the season, it starts affecting you a little bit more as everybody kind of jockeys for position there and gets to the tournament.
And meanwhile, Kentucky loses again at home to Tennessee. Is this a 3-game losing streak for them now?
They are definitely in a situation where, I mean, you look at the way that they bounced back from that game that they played at West Virginia, and you thought that would kind of be the turning point, but they came back. They managed to win that game against Vanderbilt in overtime, and it felt like they lost the game.
Oh, that's true.
Vanderbilt simply just gave the game away. And, it was one of those where Vanderbilt absolutely should have won that game. And so now Kentucky, they get that game, they go back, don't play particularly well at Missouri, and now they lose here at home against Tennessee, which by no means is a bad loss, because I said it earlier today. To me, Tennessee's a top 10 team. I think it's Auburn, Tennessee, and they're at the top of the SEC, and there's a group behind them that's a little bit ways behind. I just think the way Auburn and Tennessee have played, they are clearly the two best teams in the SEC, and I think maybe it's a distant third right now for somebody else, because they've proven that they can certainly go on the road, get big wins, and we saw it again tonight with Tennessee. And Kentucky's just, they're vulnerable this year, and it's going to continue to be that way the rest of the season.
Blake, one thing I've been harping on tonight is I think the league is definitely better this year because we've had an uptick in talent throughout the league. It's not just Kentucky that has a litany of 5 stars. Alabama's got some pro prospects on this team. I think LSU's got some guys that are going to be stars. Mississippi State, certainly Auburn's got the chemistry, if not the NBA guys on that roster. But I think next year is really the year the SEC could have a breakout season.
Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing the recruiting, like you mentioned, the guys that are coming in, and it's all the products of coaches that are here now. I mean, these coaches know how to recruit, and they understand that this is now a battle. It's funny, we always talk about the recruiting battle in SEC football, and well, we're not going to completely compare it to that, but it is now getting to that point to where when you talk about the coaching and the level of recruiting that's here in this league now, it's only going to get better. And I think it's just going to continue to stay this way. People think that maybe this is just one of those years for the SEC. I've been saying it for 2 years now. It's not really that way. This is probably that point where we start to see the league, as long as they can keep the coaches here, which they can. People are putting the resources into basketball now. We understand that. And so as long as they can keep these kind of coaches here, the talent's going to keep coming. Look at what LSU's bringing in next year. Look at what Vanderbilt's bringing in next year. I mean, it's going to keep growing, and it's going to keep the SEC right there every single year probably when we're talking about 8, 9 teams maybe getting to the tournament.
Well, Blake, you do an excellent job. Tell everybody how they can find you on Twitter and how they can follow you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at TheBlakeLevel, SoutheastHoops.com. That's all the SEC stuff. There's stuff going up all the time when it comes to SEC basketball.
Well, Blake, thank you so much for being with us this evening. We definitely want to have you on again closer to tournament time, okay?
Sounds great, man. Appreciate it.
That was Blake Lavelle, who it really is a great follow on Twitter. You need to go follow him as quickly as you can. Just search Blake Lavelle. It'll come up very, very quickly. He does an amazing job keeping you up with everything regarding the SEC. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Whether it's a dream house or corporate real estate, Concrete has the skill, expertise, and talent to exceed your expectations. Trust Concrete to build a foundation for your future. Our work ethic and dedication are always in keeping the competition on their toes. We specialize in residential and commercial development in the Coosa, Talladega, and Shelby County areas. Call us today for your next project, 256-245-4211, or check us out on the web at con-crete.com.
there is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside, but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson back with Randy Lee now. Alabama it looks like is probably going to lose to Mississippi State if this game will ever end. SEC officials have a way of prolonging things unnecessarily. And I was just talking to Blake Lavelle about it. It seems like every year the SEC officials specifically, and I guess it's because the conference I watch, they're just not good. It doesn't matter. They're just not good. They just not good. And even he was like, I agree, it's kind of tough. I mean, basketball, I think, is maybe evolved to the point where we may need either fewer officials on the court or more officials on the court. I don't know what it is, but 3 ain't getting it done because none of them know how to call a charge. Everybody thinks if you fall down, it's a charge. That's not the way it should be. It should be, did you gain an advantage? But it's really very frustrating. That charges have bothered me forever as a big guy because I had so many people flop on me. But I'm just, what do you think?
67-63, Mississippi State wins.
That sounds about right. The spread was about 3.5, so that's about right.
I think that when I watch this Alabama team play, I think they take advantage of the charge as much as anybody, though, don't they? Herb Jones he's great at it.
Yeah, he is great at it.
I think he's one of the best the school's had.
He's already set the school record for it. And I think a lot of them are legit. I'm not trying to take a shot at Herb Jones. I'm saying everybody now just loves to get under somebody and then fall down.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you get people hurt. I mean, I just feel like the charge should be called if the offensive player is literally out of control.
I'll say this, though, as a perimeter defender. You're a post defender, I'm a perimeter defender. If I'm staying in front of the guy, do you know how it's next to impossible to stay in front of a guy that is unbelievably athletic?
Yeah.
I mean, just put yourself out there, and then you do it 8 or 10 minutes consecutively. So, Luke, I'm one that the white perimeter defender in the gym where I'm the token.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I'm trying to take advantage of that. And keeping in front of someone and getting pushed around a bit, I'll defend the guard play. I'll defend the wing play on that. You've got to be able to stand your ground, is my point. If I'm defending you and you won't call a charge.
That's fine. Look, if you push off, I get it.
But there's a lot of that goes on, Luke. An extreme amount of that.
But that's what I'm saying. The sport has evolved in such a way that
it's all evolved towards the offensive player. It's evolved to the point of where no travels are ever called.
I agree with that.
That's humorous. Like a travel call, people would look at you.
But I think it's the other way on charges. I think they call way too many charges.
But it's because you do have to stand your position at times.
But
they've got to draw a line in the sand and say, you know, if they're not going to call a carry and if they're not going to call a travel, if you called a travel or a carry on me in a game, I'd almost look at you like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Those aren't called anymore.
Well, I think I would be happier if they called carries and travels and got rid of fixed the charge. Not get rid of the charge. I mean, I understand the reason for the rule.
It's moved so far, though, Luke.
Mark Knight has helpfully chimed in and said it was a technical foul for trying to call a timeout with none, but he said it was a bad call, so maybe he wasn't trying to call a timeout. Maybe they just thought he was. And look, there's a reason that what was it, Ted Valentine that was referencing Ted? Oh, I can't remember his name. But they call him TV Teddy because every time he's on TV, he makes a big show. He's like Leslie Nielsen in what was the Naked Gun as the umpire. You know, he's dancing around, showing everybody, you know, he's the one, right, that turned away from a player that was trying to get an explanation on the call. He just turned his back to him. I mean, nobody wants officials to do that stuff. And every year in football season, I'm like, look, we can't just get on the field because they do make bad calls. But I guess it's just so much more, it seems like it's so much more impactful in basketball because when you commit a foul, you only get 5 of them. Like in football, you can have 10 pass interference calls, and you're not getting kicked out. But if you have 5 fouls, if you get 2 in the first half, you're probably going to sit on the bench, and then it affects the game so much more.
That's the reason so many people suspect that basketball games are rigged more than others.
Well, that's why they probably are rigged more than others.
Because you can make calls, and every official is different, and some call touchy-feely fouls, and some are going to let you play. And you can determine on how you want a game to play by getting a key player in foul trouble early. Some of Auburn's games this year that they've struggled in the first half have been because Herron got 2 quick fouls and he's out for 15 out of the 20 minutes. He comes back out and he's got 3 to play with in the second half. But so you can spin that thing both ways, but it's a lot easier to manipulate a basketball game than it is others, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. And look, I hate to be, I hate to say.
You don't do that. You
to
hardly
say
ever do this.
But I mean, I'm watching this, and it's just, and it's really, if watching Ole Miss and Missouri, in a minute they're going to call a charge. And I feel like a charge should be much more rare. Like a charge should be something that's, you know how like a holding penalty or an offside or a false start. Like, we expect to see at least one of those games. If Cam Robinson's playing, you're going to see 2 or 3 of them.
Did you stay in foul trouble?
Did I? Nah, I was pretty, like, I remember my coach used to get on to me because I wanted to play so much. I was so scared of getting into foul trouble that, like, I'd let somebody score, like, if instead of getting in, he was like, what are you doing? And I'd say, I have 3 fouls. He'd say, yeah, but we only got 2 minutes left in the game. I ain't missing the rest of this game. I ain't taking a chance.
I was wondering where all this pent-up hostility came from.
Well, because when I was much younger and a little heavier, like all I wanted to do was block shots. And so I learned to stay in the game. I got to learn how to block a shot without fouling, right? And then when I went to high school and I started scoring some, I was like, now I really got to stay in the game because I want to score. Like, nobody wants to date the good defender.
And I used to go. I've been to several of your high school games.
Yeah.
It was you and another guy.
Yeah,
and if y'all weren't scoring, the team
we were in
wasn't
trouble.
Scoring.
We were in a little trouble.
Yeah, it was a good ball.
But we had a strong program back in the day. But going back to this, SEC basketball, it certainly is much more talented overall, and it's been a lot more fun to watch this year because there are so many good players. I mean, look, even a team like LSU, I know they got buried at Auburn, they lost at home to Alabama. They've had some bad losses on their resume, there's no doubt. But that young kid they've got, Waters, he's pretty strong. Yeah. I mean, he's an NBA player. And they've got a couple of 5-stars committed for next year. Blake Lavelle brought it up. Vanderbilt's got 2 5s. 2 of the top 15 players in the country are going to play at Vanderbilt next year.
That's a little bit surprising off of what they've done the last few years. And that's been surprising in itself because over the last 30 years, has Vandy been the 3rd or 4th best program in the SEC? Who would you put in front of them?
Over the last how many years?
30.
Well, I mean, they haven't won the league in that time, have they?
Since C.M. Newton.
Have they won the league in that
Since
time?
he left Alabama and went to Vandy, what year was that?
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to have to Wikipedia this. Have they won an SEC tournament? I don't remember there winning an SEC tournament.
Let's pull it up.
Well, I mean,
they've been a consistent winner.
Are you going to keep talking while I pull it up?
Yeah,
you can't just have dead air.
We'll bring it up. We'll check it during the break. Do you think Vandy has made more as many NCAA tournaments as anyone in the league outside of? Kentucky? I'm going to say 3 other teams. I'm going to say Arkansas, Kentucky, and Florida.
Alabama has probably more NCAA tournaments
than Vandy.
Yeah,
I bet it's close.
I mean, over the history of the programs.
No, the last 30 years.
Last 30 years. I don't know. I'm about to look it up right now.
I think Vandy's had a really good run, and it hasn't been only the Will Purdue years, or the Newton years, where Purdue, I think, was one of his.
Well, here's something I did not know. They have made the Sweet 16 6 times. Now, they made the Sweet 16 in 1965, and there may have only been 16 teams, so it may not count. But they made the Sweet 16 in 88, 93, 2004, and 2007. They have been to the NCAA tournament, let's see, in the last, how many years? You said 30 years.
30.
Let's go. So they made it in 89, 91, 93, 97, 04, 07, 06, 10, 11, 12, 16, and 17. They're not going to make it this year.
That's more than Alabama.
That's pretty strong. Over the last 30 years, I'd say it's close. I'm going to have to look up Alabama and see. They did win the conference championship tournament in 2012. Why don't I remember that? Do you remember that?
No.
I don't remember. Oh, I do. They beat Kentucky, I think.
Damari Carroll, was he part of that team?
I think he was part of that team. That was a pretty strong team. 2012, they went to the round of 32, but that's it. And the last time they won a regular season championship was 93. And I certainly don't remember that. God, man, that was when I was in college. Why don't I remember that? Should. Well, I'm going to look up the Alabama one while we're doing this. Let's go to a break.
We're going
to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have more of this captivating conversation. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
LMG Advertising Agency offers a comprehensive marketing solution tailored to each of our clients' needs. We are a full-service marketing firm offering website design and development, video production, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and overall branding that includes logo design, brochures, mailouts, and more. Our experienced team of marketing professionals would love to come up with a marketing strategy that will deliver results for you and your business. Learn more at lmgadagency.com or call today to start at 256-825-0197.
Whether it's a walk-off home run, a game-winning touchdown, or a buzzer beater, make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup. Located in downtown Sylacauga and a short drive from Highway 280, Jay's has the food you're looking for. Whether it's wings, fingers, burgers, or salads, they have it all. Come bring your family for a great meal, come hang out with your friends for the big game, or call them at 256-207-0700 to place your order. Make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Sentricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Sentricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Peaches and Clean, caring for your floors and a whole lot more in East Central Alabama.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. We did do some counting, and Alabama has been to the tournament 12 times since 1988, and Vandy has been 13 times. But if you go back to 87, it's 13-13.
I'd like to hear from you because as an Auburn fan, and we've been sitting here doing Auburn Blitz, and the only comparison that we can make to this year's Auburn basketball team is 98-99. It just keeps coming back up because we don't have anything else that we can even somewhat. What's the best Alabama basketball team in your opinion?
Oh, that 86-87 team with McKee and Connor and Farmer and Gottfried and Ansley and J.J. Jackson. I mean, that was a good team. Now, they went that's about as deep as they went. They went about 6 players. But that team was strong, man. And they ended up playing the Providence team with Billy Donovan, shot them right, coached by Rick Pitino. No big whoop, just Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan. If Alabama had been matched up with anybody else, I think they'd make the Final Four that year. I swear I do. That Providence team went on to make the Final Four. They lost to Syracuse, but they played Georgetown, which was the number 1 seed. Alabama was a 2 seed. Georgetown was a 1 seed. Georgetown had a kid named Reggie Williams on that team who was very good. Everybody thought he was going to be such a hot shot pro, and he really wasn't that good in the pros. But I truly believe Alabama would have made the Final Four if they just don't get mad. You know, that's the way the tournament is sometimes. You got that one team in your bracket. If you're like, we just don't play them. There was another time, I want to say it was 85-86. Alabama had Buck Johnson and another strong team. They were very good. And they played Kentucky 4 times that year. If Kentucky beat them all 4 times. Played them in Tuscaloosa, played them in Lexington, beat them in the SEC tournament, and beat them in the NCAA tournament. It's like, why put them in our bracket? If you just don't put them in our bracket, we make it. But you can't. I mean, it just wouldn't happen.
Is that Rex Chapman led Kentucky?
No, that was Kenny Skywalker.
Is that right?
He just ate our lunch. We couldn't stop him. He was really good.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed. Did you watch the C.M. Newton story? I mean, let's just spin it around, talk some odds and ends. Did you watch it?
I did not.
It's wonderful. Watch it.
I want to see it.
I love all of the 30 for 30s. I like the SEC story.
I can't. It's hard for me to get focused for that long. Like, I'm scared when I start watching it, I won't quit watching it.
That is so odd because you're a movie fanatic.
But when I'm watching a movie, I like to go to the movie because, like, I can't go anywhere. But if it's really bad, I'll get up and leave. But Lethal Weapon, I was so invested, at Lethal Weapon 4, I was so invested, I thought it was going to end at any second. I was like, no reason to leave now. I've only got 5 minutes left. Well, little did I know there was 30 minutes left. I'll never forget that. I'm going to go on a rant about Lethal Weapon 4. Like, they kept bringing people in, and it turns out Mel Gibson's movie wife was having a baby, and they kept bringing in all these ancillary characters to, like, bring her gifts for the baby. I'm like, what does this have to do? What? Unless the baby starts shooting somebody, that has nothing to do with Lethal Weapon.
That is so odd that you can't watch these documentaries.
I can watch them. The Miami one, I've watched a few of them. I watched the Miami one. What's the one on the running back from Mississippi? Help me out.
Marcus Dupree.
Marcus Dupree is great. But I can't watch all of it. If I start watching it, I know I won't quit watching it. That's my thing. And when I'm at home, and if I have enough time to watch something, now that I have a 1.5-year-old, I'm like, I got to be real careful with how I spend my time because you only get so much time. And if I start watching a documentary and she wakes up in the middle of it, and then all of a sudden it sort of breaks my link with the show, you know what I mean? And then it's hard to get back into it. Like, oh man, I kind of remember that character. Even you know what I mean? I want to get into it.
Yeah.
And then I don't stay up late. And I'm not going to watch it first thing in the morning. I wake up about 3:30 every morning. I'm not going to watch a documentary at 3:30.
I'll tell you this about the ones that are SEC storied. We're interested, of course, we're more interested in things that are close to us. I mean, I think that everything's becoming hyper-local, of course, but for me, I hear from you, Luke. I don't know Alabama in the 70s, basketball. I care less.
Well, I don't either, really.
But I watch these sports storied, and I see the story behind it. And I see how lily white Alabama was. And Alabama basketball was as lily white as any program was. And most were that back
In the
then.
70s, I don't think we were.
C.M. Newton went 110%. But it's a very cool story to see Bear Bryant and C.M. Newton were friends. But when C.M. Newton played at Kentucky and Bear Bryant was the football coach, C.M. Newton would go over and do his thing with them. And so there was a connection there. And Bear Bryant, being the athletic director, hired C.M. Newton. And C.M. Newton had Alabama on the cusp, buddy. And
yeah, he was strong. He was good.
Listen, that 76 team for Indiana that went undefeated.
That's another team. If we hadn't played them.
They wanted no more of Alabama at the end of that game.
If we just don't have them. I mean, it's amazing how you run up on that one team. But I mean, and I'm sure every team can do that.
Listen, stop for an hour of your life and watch that. It's really good.
Is it only an hour?
Yeah, it's an hour, and he can no longer really speak for himself. So he got his brother, who they say his brother talks just like him. So his brother's doing the voiceover work to talk, and it's his story. It's written with him, and it's wonderful.
Speaking of that, I think HBO, it was either HBO or Showtime beat them to the punch on this one. They did a documentary a long time ago, back before it was cool, on the ABA. You know, the old American Basketball Association.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yes.
Oh, God, that was so good. I mean, now, see, that was back before I had kids, and so I could watch it. I mean, I could take a little time out. When you got 12 kids, it's very difficult to do anything, scattered all over the country. But that ABA, I'll never forget that. Bob Costas was the play-by-play voice of the Kentucky Colonels. And he talks about one of the players on the team, and they had a flight from something about going from one time zone to another. So it screwed up. You know, if I fly from Atlanta back to Birmingham, I may leave at 12:15 and I get it in at 12:13. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the guy comes over to Bob Costas, and he said his eyes were just this big. And Bob's like, "What's wrong?" He said, "You see this right here?" He said, "This says we leave at 1:32 and we get in at 1:26. And Bob said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't know about you, but I ain't getting in no time machine." And I mean, Costas said he was as serious as he could ever be. That story has stuck with me forever. I mean, I can't imagine, Costas said, I didn't know what to tell him. He's 10 times my size. He could just swat me out of the way. You know, it was just one of the coolest stories ever.
Okay, but I love them. What are y'all's favorites out there? Those that are watching on Facebook Live, which ones do you like the best? I've watched the Manning one probably 20 times.
Yeah, okay, I've seen the Manning one, but that wasn't an ESPN one. That was SEC story.
This is C.M. Newton's SEC story.
But the Manning was 2 hours, too.
I watched last night Missouri's basketball coach for 32 years, and I've been sitting here thinking of it. Norm Stewart.
Norm Stewart.
Very good. Very, very good.
Missouri is one of those teams, one of those programs, you know, sort of an afterthought, football, whatever, but they're a program that's very, very good basketball. They got a pretty good tradition basketball-wise, but they've never made the Final Four.
No, and Norm Stewart never got out of the grade 8. Talked about some of those Chavis teams and others that I know that you can remember. But Coaches for Cancer. Mm-hmm. Did you realize that he started that?
Norm Stewart did?
Yes.
No, we all assume it was Valvano.
Coaches for Cancer is a Norm Stewart. Over $100 million raised. It's kind of his passion. He got cancer. I don't know if you knew the story, but he was on a plane flight heading over to a ball game and pretty much fainted on the plane flight heading over. They took him in for tests and had a heart condition and found out he had cancer.
Isn't that scary?
Since then, and that was quite some time ago because he came back and coached a good while. But great story. I love all of them.
Well, speaking of folks that are in the stories, Andy Graham, who has been usually up here with us, we all wish him well and a speedy recovery. He's been a little under the weather. We hope to have him back as soon as possible. Those who miss him, and that's probably a lot of you, great guy, big Auburn fan, but still a great guy.
He's you. I mean, y'all were y'all are so much alike it's scary. Y'all really are. One cheers for Alabama and the other cheers for Auburn.
We do have a lot of things in common.
But Andy has had a tough little spell here over the last few weeks. We had him back for a couple of those weeks, which yesterday when I talked to him, and he would enjoy this if he's watching, he didn't remember that he did any of those shows for those few weeks. But today he was back in great spirits and was 100 times better. And so, yeah, thoughts and prayers sent to Andy Graham for all of you out there. And hopefully we'll have him back sooner than later.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Randy, I got to get your opinions on the details of this Malzahn contract that have come out.
Okay.
We're going to be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
Comfort is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
Game day. Last season you were watching football at the mercy of that loathed cable company and your weird roommate with the ornery chinchilla. But today you're going to watch wherever the Wild you want. You go here, Wild Wind Cafe. They've got all the games on more screens than you can count. And cute roommates. This is just the Wild you need. So go wild, superfan. We can't help you choking QB, but we do have cold beer.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you, gotta get to Gills. Selection and price, gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
East Central Alabama asked for it, and Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoors has answered with the region's full-service Mahindra tractor and UTV dealer on Highway 280 in Alex City next to Tallapoosa Ford. Full lines of Mahindra tractors, E-Max, Max 1500 series to 5500 series. We have the world's #1 tractor line. Get the job done as well with full lines of the world's toughest UTVs and accessories. Visit the all-new Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor in Alex City. True grit never taps out with Mahindra tractors, UTVs, and accessories.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. We're talking about Gus Malzahn's contract. The details have been released, and Randy, we got to do Players of the Week before too long. We'll do that next segment because I've already jumped into this and I'm not killing that momentum. But 75% is guaranteed if they let him go before the end of his contract. So if next year is just god awful, let's just say, injuries happen, bad bounces happen, whatever.
Yeah.
And you go, I think the worst Auburn could do next year would be 7-6. Let's say you go 7-6.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible, but if Auburn said we just can't put up with this anymore, they'd owe him, $30-some-odd million.
Here's what's happening with the leverage game, though. Think about this. Jimbo Fisher just tanked at Florida State this year.
Yeah.
Tanked out. It was awful. And he just got $7.5 million a year for 10 guaranteed.
He takes over for Kevin Sumlin, who was so bad they said, we just can't stand it anymore. Here's $10 million. Go do something else.
So it's where the agents have positioned this. But also, we don't know what the market holds right now. I've said this for 2 or 3 years. Somebody said, well, when do we find the first $10 million coach? I said, well, it could be way over right now. First $10 million coach, Nick Saban said, well, I think I'm interested in Texas. And where would that top out?
He'd be the first whatever coach. He said, they're offering me $12 million. Okay, we'll pay you $12 million and one.
That's my point. So we don't even really know what the market value is right now because it hasn't been pressed.
And here's the thing, though. Like every other bubble, this football bubble will burst. It just will. Because you see now, there are already chinks in football's armor where people are scared. You have older football players saying, I'm not going to let my son play, which I disagree with. I'm pro playing football. Life is full of risks. You could turn your ankle walking up your stairs to your house. Whatever. But there are some people who say, I'm not going to do it. They think it's too risky. Okay? You got other sports like soccer, which is always gaining popularity apparently, but it's gaining some popularity. And people are spending all year on baseball or basketball or golf or swimming or whatever instead of being multidimensional with their sports now. So I don't know. I think there's some chinks in football's armor, and it has turned some people off. The anthem thing has turned some people off. There was a guy, the receiver, Richie, was it Anderson for the Jets that was caught speeding, and he said all these horrible things to the cop that he was like, man, you're doing 90 and a 30. I got to give you a ticket. And the guy just cussed him up and down, and that gets out. He ends up getting arrested. So football's got some black eyes out there. What I'm saying is that the bubbles, eventually you're not going to be able to pay these guys that much anymore. And the TV thing's so messed up, we don't even know where the money's going to be coming from later. We all think it's going to be available. We all think the advertising dollars are out there. But who's going to be the one carrying the games anymore? Amazon's going to be carrying NFL, and I'm not saying they can't do it. Amazon's got more money than all of us.
I think that live sports stand to live through this longer than others because whoever has the rights, Luke, are going to keep the rights to themselves. You and I happen to be part of a small network here in the state of Alabama that we kind of see the inner workings of how certain someones can have an online broadcast, you can have a TV and radio, but we got to keep others out to keep only one. Football will figure this out because live sports are going to keep the advertiser dollars coming in because your eyes are going to be there. It could be on Twitter, it could be on Facebook, it could be on multiple streams. How many things do you watch on Facebook?
All that's true. I'm just saying, I think these things also have a way of finding a way to burst. Baseball was boxing was the most popular sport in the country at one time. Horse racing was. Baseball was. Baseball is a distant third now.
But it isn't a distant third money-wise.
No, that's only Major League.
Yeah.
College baseball isn't there. You still can't pay people to watch college baseball about half the time.
I don't know that you could then either.
Maybe not.
But
I'm saying college football is different because, look, I'm just saying football has set itself so all the standards are so high. And Justin's saying, Luke, he just beat Georgia and Alabama. He's recruiting against the best ever in the state. Same recruiting, yada yada. Yes, he's worth it. I'm not asking is he worth it or not. I think Auburn had to do it. I said that at the time. Yeah. I don't think they had a choice because even if they fire Malzahn, they're going to have to give somebody else a contract like this, right?
Yeah,
that's what you have to do right now.
And I think as an Auburn fan that has watched 4, 5, 6 years of this stretch and a growth of a head coach that only had 1 year of head coaching experience before he comes over, then I would take a jump with him rather than to take a jump with a new coach and hope that he comes in and let's see where we go
And
with
does
that.
Kirby Smart.
I did feel like there was a positive movement towards something this year. I felt that way. Now, it didn't show up in the SEC championship game. It didn't show up in the bowl. But we've stuck in the top 10 in recruiting, even back to Gene Chizik. After a while, you do have to give the man the benefit of the doubt that he's put us in the position to play for championships multiple times since 2010. I think he had just as much to do with it in 10 as a Gene Chizik did. So we've been in the position, and we do have to understand that Nick Saban's not going to be there forever, Luke.
No, I think I'll tell you what, that's an interesting question I thought about on the way over here. Who do you think's at their school longer, Saban or Malzahn now?
Good question. That's a great one, but I think that Auburn fans are coming to the realization, and have for quite some time, that this is a crazy era. And you tip your hat. I'm tipping it to you. It's the best era that we're probably going to see over the next 50 to 100 years. We might not ever see this again. Alabama's been lucky enough to have it 2 different times with the 2 best coaches the college game's gotten. But Alabama's also missed a lot between those two.
I know. And look, we've had some bad contracts too. I don't even know what we had to pay Mike Price. I don't know. I don't even remember. There's so many things, like most of my childhood, I've blocked all that out. Like, I don't even want to remember it. I don't want to see pictures of it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, there was no Alabama football from 2000 to 2006. Don't bring it up. Don't make me revisit it. Don't go therapy on me. So
Auburn had nothing else to do. We can argue.
You had to.
You can make a point. You can make a stance that you thought Malzahn wasn't worth it even this year. This was a business decision that had to be made. He hasn't gotten us in any trouble. There's not anything pointing to him to go, oh my gosh, we got sanctions coming.
My point is this, though. That's the thing, is we all agree you had to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a scary proposition.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's just a very scary. It's like you've been dating somebody for 6 years, and okay, it's time to make the move to marriage or not. But there is some uncertainty there. But you're like, what am I going to do? I mean, everything I've got is tied up with this person, emotionally, financially, socially. You know what I mean?
You got to make a decision on whether you're willing to do what you need to do. And any of these college football teams right now, they're getting pushed in the corner, and they have no leverage.
And coaches, everybody talks about the schools have all the leverage with the players. Well, the coaches have all the leverage with the schools.
All of it.
We need to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn? Needing extra space at your house? Check out Easy Storage Units on Tallapoosa Street, 1 mile from downtown Alex City. With state-of-the-art 24-hour surveillance, you can rest easy knowing all of your possessions will be safe and secure. Easy Storage has any size unit you need, from 5x10s up to 10x20s. Call Easy Storage today at 256-794-8223 to rent your unit today. That's Easy Storage, 256-794-8223.
When you're born, you're really young. You're like 0 years old. My grandma tells me to quit growing up so fast. But what can I do about it? My mom keeps throwing me birthday parties.
Russell Medical, comprehensive care in your corner of the world.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service, always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City. This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. We're going to speed through these players of the week very quickly. I'll start with the Quinn Harrelson Interleague Lee County Player of the Week, and that is C.J. Jordan from Opelika. Established a new Class 6A indoor state meet, 6A boys record in the triple jump with a leap of 4.75. I'm not really sure how to read that.
I'll tell you random. I used to do triple jump in the middle school.
Yeah. Is that 40? Is that 48?
I think I broke 20 feet one time.
They're not saying he jumped 48 feet, right?
Triple jump. Did it say triple jump?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. All right, Tay Washington from Autauga Academy is our River Region Player of the Week, brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. The junior was the hero for the Lady Generals as she made a layup at the buzzer to give them their first AISA state championship in a 28-27 win over Wilcox Academy. Saw that one last night. A little replay of that. That was pretty fantastic.
Sign Source, Lake Martin Player of the Week is Jelia Caldwell from BRHS, recorded a double-double with 14 points, 11 rebounds in the 40-16 victory over Wetumpka in the Class 6A Area 6 tournament.
Lee Apparel, East Alabama Player of the Week is Alani Sutton from Smith Station, set a new 7A girls record in the triple jump with a leap of 40 feet 8 inches at the AHSA State Indoor Track Championships. Is that the same thing yours just said?
Look and see.
Something tells me that we just copy and pasted one, because do you believe
what would be the odds that they jumped the exact
that? Okay.
It looks different.
Keep going.
Okay. The Lyman Ward Military Academy AISA Player of the Week is Kyle Edwards from Macon East. The senior earned MVP honors as he led the Knights to their second consecutive AISA AA state championship in the 67-40 victory over Escambia Academy.
Concrete over in Sylacauga is our Talladega County Player of the Week. Sponsor is Fred Dickerson from Talladega. Averaged 24 points a game over a 3-game span this past week that led the Tigers to 2-1 record in a Talladega County Tournament Championship win over Sylacauga.
And finally, the Russell Building Supply Russell Do-It Center AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week is Jasmine Griffin from Homewood. Won the 60-meter dash, 60-meter hurdles, 400-meter dash to anchor the Patriots championship performance.
Wow.
That's pretty strong.
Russell Do-It Center, our segment sponsor right here.
Great Americans,
There's
good
the,
people.
he is the commercial
face
sponsor.
Of, they probably don't want me to say that.
I've seen my fair share of Russell Do-It Center supplies down at the home that we're building currently right now. Saw some siding going up today, so thank them for being our AHSA Radio Network sponsor. And Luke, we got the finals coming up at the end of this month.
It's going to be in just a couple of weeks. We just figured out our schedules.
Yeah.
By the way, Tommy Wood said he's going to do all of Friday morning. I'm going to do all of Friday evening, so we got that figured out.
Sounds good to me, as long as I'm not involved.
Well, that's going to do it for Sportz Blitz Live. Thank you so much for being with us on TV and on Facebook Live. Thank you all out there. We'll catch you next week on Sportz Blitz Live.